Alright, I didn't want to lose to the starter on this BMW, so I'm taking another crack at it. So what I've done is I've made a custom tool by cutting apart a wrench, a very cheap wrench that I bought at AutoZone. And what that's going to do is hopefully give me some access like this down inside of here. There's the bolt down there. I've already removed this intake runner. That wasn't too big of a deal. And I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to drain the coolant. I didn't want to do any of this. And I'm gonna take off these coolant lines right here. Okay, so let's do it. This is my absolutely favorite tool that I own, my Mighty Vac suction tool. So we're gonna start sucking the coolant out. We can. Are we sucking? No? What's up? Alright, so we're sucking the coolant out. Very slowly. Going into here. Somebody had done some kind of shoddy work on those tubes anyways there, so what I need to do is get down into this tube, hopefully drain as much as I can with that, so I don't spill very much. You know, my full-size nice compressor has kind of been lost in my divorce, so I've been working off of all this Milwaukee stuff in this small one, and it basically works, but I do wish I had a little bit more oomph. All right, we've sucked out about this amount of coolant. It's getting down to the point where I think I can disconnect these hoses to give myself a little more access by hand here. Okay, so my problems have actually been made doubly worse by the fact that somebody else has obviously tried to do this and given up, and they've sort of dummied up the head of that nut in there so that the wrench doesn't want to fit on that cleanly. So now I'm going to take another approach because I can't get my custom wrench to actually sit down because I think it's been dummied up, and it's been dummied up by somebody doing this right here, okay? They've come in with a socket kind of like this, all right? A socket that didn't fit, and they've tried to turn the nut this way, which has caused it to now be distorted, okay? So I'm going to try and actually take one of my sockets, which when you think about it, a socket's not that expensive, and I'm going to actually try and, before I give up and go to the next level, I'm going to try and create a socket that fits by grinding off every bit of this 3/8 drive Hazet socket that I possibly can. Okay. Now, if you look, this right here, this is a Koken 3/8 socket. This one is Hazet, okay? So the Hazet is already smaller, but I'm gonna make it even smaller by just taking that corner off and see if I can get to the point where here, you can see right here, it almost fits on, okay? So this will instruct me what I need to do. So I need to take even more off. This is going really not according to plan. And I'm starting to understand why I got this car so cheap. I think this thing was mechanically totaled on the starter. Holy smokes. Oh my God. Did it move? No. Fuck. Okay, I finally got it out, but let me show you what did it. So, I mean, if somebody's looking to change the starter on a 1980 BMW 528i, there's not going to be a lot out there for them. But let me make a couple points. Here is the new starter from Bosch. See how it has that surface right there? Here is the original starter from Bosch. See how it does not have that surface? That surface makes a big difference. It basically means that if you are removing the original starter, 40-year-old starter like I am, which is amazing, made in Germany. Look at that old school thing. If it's the original, you're gonna have to go at it with an open-ended wrench. Now, let me show you what you gotta do. Hold on, bear with me. Bear with me. You need to take a 17mm wrench and do this to it, okay? You need to reduce the diameter to make it as thin as possible, and you also need to do a real cutaway at it to give you the access like that, okay? Really, really small, okay? What I use to do that is this Milwaukee M12 band sanding tool. Nightmare. And see, the thing about it, steel actually used to be better back in the old days, especially in Germany in 1980. And a lot of older tools were actually thinner than tools are today. And so you find some really tight clearances on some of this older equipment, you know? But what a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. I originally thought this job normally a starter for me, even on one of these older cars. Hour, 2 hours. I've been at this off and on now for a day and a half. I started originally making this other tool, okay? You know, and you have to have a camera to see what's going on down there also. I started making this one where I cut it and bent it. It turns out you don't really need to do that. Actually, all you need to do is make this relief cut right there and then reduce the diameter. So, all right, let's start putting the other one back in. It's gonna be unavoidable getting never sees on my camera, but do you see that double swivel from Koken? Why those are the best? How you can just get in places. You know, now that I'm getting this all put together, I remember the last time I drove this, what I had been doing is hitting the starter, the solenoid with a hammer. I remember it had a fuel leak the last time I drove it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be bad. But it got me home from Milwaukee back to Northern Illinois, where I am today. And so I also need to do these alternator bushings. That alternator is at a weird angle because all the rubber has decomposed, but just keep it on that one-handed. Yup. This was the hardest starter I've ever done in my life. I've done numerous starters on cars at this point over time. I remember when I was like 13, my parents had this Chevrolet Suburban, and my dad was just like, hey, it needs a water pump here. Do it, to my brother and I. And of course, that informs my worldview that people should actually fix things, but of course they don't. All right, let's get this battery hooked up and see if it starts. You know, and the cool thing about this vacuum suction thing is that I can just actually, if you keep it clean enough, I can just pour the same coolant right back in that I sucked out without having to get new coolant. Of course, I am likely to have to vacuum bleed this, which, you know, it's more of the same. That's why I didn't originally want to take off the coolant lines. I wanted this to be simpler. I wanted to just take the starter off and not have to drain it, not have to take off the intake, not have to refill it with coolant, not have to vacuum bleed it. But BMW did me dirty. And the interesting thing, forgot to tighten that. That's not good. Screwdriver. Already forgot to tighten this hose clamp. Bosch, you know, if they had put that chamfer onto the casting originally in 1980, I probably could have gotten some kind of ratchet on there, or I would have been really tempted. But of course, that didn't happen, and I get it. I'm wondering, did like BMW have some sort of custom tool originally to do this? This car does have, it has 100,000 miles on it. It's not, you know, it's not really a very old car in terms of miles, which is why it's so beautiful, but see, if I get all this coolant back in, I didn't leak very much out at all. I know I'm probably, maybe I won't have to bleed it. That would be nice. If I can't get this all back in, then that's my sign that bleeding is underway. Looking pretty good. She's gonna take it all. Let's not do the little bit where it has all the junk in the bottom of my tank. Okay. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Forgot that. Oh. Hey, I really am. Hey, we just bled it. Forgot that whole deal. That's a little too short anyways, isn't it? Darn it! Did this whole thing without spilling any coolant, and there I am at the very last minute because I'm making a video for you, my 33 subscribers. Better get some more goddamn subscribers in here. Alright. Here we are. Now, to start the car. It like, you know, it started pretty reliably if it was warm before. And it started pretty reliably if you beat it with a hammer. All right, let's see here. Are you gonna start for me? Boom, come on. First time. First frickin' time. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, and that thing already came off. Okay. Great. Look at how smooth it runs too. You know. All right, well. Got some noise coming from the old alternator. Oh, that's the belt noise. Okay, well, the reason why I love this car is, you know, the physics of engines. The inline six is the smoothest engine other than the V12 if you look at the kind of harmonic vibrations that happen as the crankshaft rotates. And you know, and this era of BMW, like this is the E12 car, I guess. You know, the next one, the E23, the intake manifold, it's just not as beautiful as this. This is like so kind of artful to me. You know what? I'm gonna try and drive this car this weekend, so I'm just gonna throw on a new set of alternator bushings right here without completely separating the alternator from the car. Let's see. Kind of everything that Volvo is to simplicity, BMW is the opposite. Even in comparison to Mercedes, which I think is a very, very busy car, you know, there's just a different ethos between the German cars and the Swedish cars. The Swedish cars are simpler. You know, this is the original, very, very soft rubber, completely degraded. This is what you get from FCP Euro, this much harder polymer. Really wonder what they were thinking originally with these soft ones, you know, when obviously there's going to be, you know, a fair amount of tension on that alternator belt. Okay, we've got some nice new alternator bushings. I didn't get quite as much tension on the belt as I want because it's a little bit of a chore, but I think it's okay. We're going to take it for a test ride. Test ride!
Ice cream tastes so much better when it's warm. It drags the door.
All right, it is test drive time, and we are having this warm spell in northern Illinois, and might be time to test out more the AC too.
The ice cream tastes so much better.
Hey, we're talking cars here.
Nope.
So the key objectives here for this test drive are
today it was.
Does it overheat? I.e., do I need to bleed the cooling? And Mimi, this is a car video for a car channel. Yes, but you can definitely talk.
So today was 78 degrees. It was perfect. It was so perfect.
Wow. All right, let's let this warm up. You know, I was gonna change the transmission fluid, but this job took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. This is the worst produced automotive channel on YouTube by far. Let's see here. While we're driving, I just want you to take a look at this interior. When I saw this car and I saw this interior, look at that dash. Perfect. Ceiling, perfect. Everything, the seats, they're beautiful, okay? Everything is there, original radio, everything works. Here, let's open up the sunroof, because it's such a beautiful day. Whoa.
I do not like that.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, hold on.
Yeah, you like it too loud now.
There we go, hang on, I just want to get some shots for the followers. All right.
Roll! Hey, roll! Roll! Daddy!
Whoa. It's not exactly the shot we were looking for. Here, hold on. Temperature looks good. Okay. It's not exactly the shot we're looking for either. How about that? Oh yeah.
Stay focused on the road, please.
Some good shots.